back to IPA where we keep it real and raw. I'm your host, Mr. IPA. I'm here with another very special guest, and I'll allow him to introduce himself.
It's your boy D-Flame, man. Niggas already know what time it is. What's good, buddy? Thanks for having me, man.
Of course. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. So let's get it started at the beginning. Who is D-Flame? Who is Derek?
Who is D-Flame? Who is Derek? Well, that's a good question, man. I am a producer. I'm a fashion designer. And I'm just an entrepreneur who, who's all for the people, man. That's me.
All for the people.
Yep.
Damn. So do you want to one day design clothes for everybody, all walks of life and everything?
Well, I feel like I already kind of do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The whole concept behind a lot of the shit that I design is like something that you can just put on and just like, how you picking out your outfit. And it's like you got everything, but you missing that one piece that you could just put on, and it's like, all right.
Of course.
That's my concept around design. So, that's DoMore, that's Derek, that's D-Flame.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's me.
So, what was your upbringing like? Like, what was your early childhood like, and what were some of the inspirations that you kind of developed from from early on?
Well, early on, man, I was born in East Chicago, Indiana, but I moved to Maryville when I was about 5 or 6. So it's like when I first started really going to school, that's when I went to Maryville. Like I started first grade there. But it was cool, man. I grew up, my pops was a pastor, and I grew up kind of in the church. That's why I learned how to play piano, which started the musical influence type thing. Okay. But it's like I grew up around so many different people, like even church people or just non-church people, just regular people. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I got a taste, I feel like, of every bit of life. Because like some people on my dad's side, they're more like corporate type of people. Some people on my mom's side, more from the hood and more from the gutter, you know what I'm saying? And that's on both ends, but I feel like I got a good taste of every, piece of life. So that's why I feel like now I'm just able to just connect with just any type of person, because I've experienced it pretty much all.
Yeah. I mean, so through the church's influence, like, do you feel like, how heavily do you think that plays into how you make music now?
I think it's damn near the bread and butter of it, bro, because it's like, I wasn't like, when my friends was able to go outside and do certain stuff, it was like, all right, man, gotta go to Bible study, gotta go to choir rehearsal, gotta do this. So at that point in time, I'm just like, man, you in the church, you gotta find something to do. So I started playing the drums at first, really. And then, later on in life, I started transitioning to keys. Like, I'll tell you a little funny story. So I used to play football when I was in middle school.
Yeah.
And
what position?
Damn, I was playing wide receiver. Okay. And some people that know me know this shit ain't no cap. This shit ain't no cap. I was playing wide receiver. I played 2 games. And the only reason why I played football, because it was like, I wanted to really do something to, like, at that age, make my pops proud. And I knew that he loved football and shit. He really didn't know a lot about music. So I'm like, I'm going to try to do this. Yeah. So I tried to do that. And after 2 games, my pops was like, yeah, I'm pulling you out of this. He was like, I'm pulling you out. He was like, because I don't want you to mess up your hands. Then you ain't going to be able to play piano or something like that. So then I was mad, because I thought I was kind of selfish in him. But later on in life, I'm like, I really appreciated that, because it was like, shit, my hands is, that's all I got now, nigga. Shit, even my hands and my thoughts.
Yeah, even with like CTE and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that shit is it's one of the risks you can run of like playing a real contact sport. For sure. That,
But man, I wasn't in the field. Like, I was just doing little shit with that. I wasn't good no way, nigga. I was bullshitting.
Yeah.
I think that's really why he pulled me out. Cause he said, nigga, you ain't gonna do shit in here. I'm gonna go ahead and keep you towards music type shit. Yeah.
So I noticed that, like, in a lot of like the beats I've heard that you post, you got like a real R&B, like real, like, kind of like subtle type vibe. Like, where does that? So, are you like a real R&B fan? Like, do you really is that the main genre?
I mean, that's pretty much my cream and crop is really R&B for real. Like, I do the rap shit, I do the hip hop shit, but all my life I always wanted to be a singer, and I could never sing. So it's like, it was one of them things where it was just like, I'm going to just make R&B music, and I'm going to write records for other people to sing, and I'm going to just help because I got an ear and I can hear, you know what I'm saying, and how to guide people through R&B records, because R&B is one of them things where you just can't get up and be like, all right, I'm about to do this.
Yeah.
Like, it's very thought out. It's very expensive in terms of time. It's something you just got to really be well versed in. You know what I mean? That's one of the things, like, that I feel like now it really still takes some inch of talent to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I love R&B so much, because it's just like, it just feel like no matter what, like, those records, like, when they come on, even in the club or at the family reunion, they hit you just like, right? You can't even describe it. It just hits you. It gets you dancing. It gets you up. It get the aunts up. It get the aunties up. So that's why, like, that's what I want to bring back to music. And that's why I'm so versed in R&B, because I want to have something that's going to be timeless. And I want to have something that when you press play, that shit is going to hit you, like, in your chest to where you have to move.
You're
where you got to dance.
Feeling.
You know what I'm saying? Where you got to feel good. You know what I'm saying? So...
yeah, and I mean R&B is one of the genres where it's really like there's no room for mediocrity. You know, like you're not getting by with just like sounding okay. You have to be great. You know, and that's like so. Like who are like some of your tops in the R&B then?
Oh
like
man,
top 3 then.
Top 3 R&B artists. Well, I'm gonna have to go with the king, number 1, which is R. Kelly.
Yes,
I know how to separate. The life from the. Obviously, he did some very bogus and fucked up shit. But artistry-wise, he is the greatest R&B artist ever. I'm going to go with him. Then I'm going to go with Jodeci. That's another one of my favorite R&B groups / artists. And then number 3, man, that's tough because I got so many people. Man, who would I have to go with? I would have to go... I would have to probably go with I can't even settle on 3, so I'm gonna do a couple. I'm gonna have to go with either Drew Hill, Joe, or you know what? I'm gonna go with one of my own artists, Nicole.
Wow, hey, shout out Nicole. For real. Damn, so you ain't a Tyrese listener?
Tyrese, hold on now. I love that nigga Tyrese. I knew I was missing somebody. That's exactly him, Tyrese, Tank, Genuine. I can't just stop at one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But honestly, if I had to go with that third one, I think it actually would have to be Tyrese.
Tyrese can put out some shit.
Yeah, I think it would have to be Tyrese.
For sure. Damn. So, all right. Since you touched lightly on like your artists, tell me about DoMore Records and 219 Sessions too.
Okay, I got it. So DoMore Records is a artist development label that I'm starting. And pretty much, I'm not, with DoMore Records, it's just something that's there to pretty much really take time and develop you. So a lot of labels and stuff, they don't start, well, I would say this, a lot of artist development, they just develop you once you're already on.
Yeah.
But since the area that we in, a lot of people don't really know what it takes to really be at that level. Like, if you're running 219, you don't... To me, I didn't really know that the record industry was real, and that getting on and that being an artist and seeing that shit was capable was actually real until I moved to LA.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, all right. Literally the first 2 weeks I was there, I looked around because I went out there on an internship with this guy named Mars. He's with 1509, and he also got his own thing with Spaceship Recording. But I was looking around, and I'm like, damn. They doing the same thing that I was doing at home, but these niggas actually is on off of this. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this shit really real. Like, this shit is real. Yeah. You can be an artist in the industry. And before I moved out there, you know, I was working and I had hopes and stuff and I had dreams, but I just always remember in the back of my mind, like, this shit ain't gonna happen. Like, I'm doing this. I got faith that it can happen, but this shit ain't really gonna happen for real. I'm in the middle of nowhere, like nobody really know me like that. But when I moved there and I just seen, I'm like, all right, this shit is real. And it gave me like a real roadmap on how to like kind of structure myself and be able to structure other people into being on that path. Yeah. So DoMore Records, back to that. But anyway, DoMore Records is an artist development company to where I'm pretty much developing you from your image, from really starting with the record, because it really starts with the song. You can have as good as image, you can have as good as talk, you can look good as hell, all of this, but if you don't have a good song, you're not gonna be around for long.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna stick.
Yeah.
You know, it's not gonna resonate. So I'm building people out, starting with the record, and then I'm developing you all the way through, pretty much. So the song, you don't have to worry about like the mix, the beat, because I'm on DoMore Records. I'm just not that's the brand, but it's so many more people that make the records that I put out sound how they sound and move how they move because I have a team of people. You know what I mean? But that's pretty much what DoMore Records is. It's just a development label to develop people and push them kind of on the right path to show them like this shit is real.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna push you and make you make the right records that I know people are gonna like and that I know I can pull the best out of you with. And from there, I just develop your image and how we're gonna market it and stuff like that. So yeah, that's DoMore Records for me.
So what about 219 Sessions?
So 219 Sessions. 219 Sessions is a thing that I started. I think what year is this? 2023. Yeah. I started in 2021. I started that because I have a live band. So I wanted to bring a culture here to Indiana that was like, it's cool to go out, have fun, listen to a live band, vibe out. But I knew I couldn't just come to people and just throw that culture on them. I knew I had to kind of creep it in there.
Yeah.
So what I did was I started getting local artists who was hot at what they did, and I brought them. And I took, instead of just playing a record regular how you would and just rap over it, I put my band up and I kind of started to create a culture to where people can start to appreciate like a live band plus this. Because I had a lot of musician buddies that was cool, you know, guys like me, you know, they weren't really corny or, you know, they was just like, they was niggas for real. Yeah. So it's like, I wanted to show people like, it's niggas out here with talent that can play drums, play keyboards, do this and that. And we still regular people. We still fun. We can still whatever. But I wanted to introduce that culture to this area, and that's why I started the 219 Sessions primarily for that. And to kind of start to train, really, I'm going to give y'all this again. I really did that to train my artists for a tour. So when they go on tour with a live band, they kind of know how to get in front of a crowd. And you know what I'm saying? But I invited other people to kind of widen it a little bit, to give them that opportunity to see what it would be like on something like that. So that's why I started the 219 Sessions thing, which is coming back very soon, within the next couple weeks.
Hey, shit. Back into it. Early influence that you have with Urban Genius. Let's get into it because we briefly touched on it in the whip, but you know, like. Let's talk about it. So like, when did you first like get involved with Urban Genius, and like kind of like what did you do in that structure to kind of like help the brand grow at that point in time?
So I'm gonna just explain to you the whole structure of it. So originally, I had started Urban Genius. Me, Clarence. I'm not gonna forget him. Draylon Williams. A couple other guys. Who was that? Those are the main people I can remember right now. Bell was around, but he wasn't as involved in it like the very first days. But he was a very key point in it, for sure. So, because of the way that it started as just people, some young niggas, like I told you in the car. So basically what it was in Maryville, you had a lot of different cultures of people. So it was like, we was always kind of the odd guys out. It was like we was wearing the crazy clothes and the stuff everybody thought was corny and lame, and I would never wear that, or I would never, what is these niggas? These niggas weird as hell. Yeah. We was the niggas on the Supreme and on the street wearing on a lot of that shit during that time. So it was like, I wanted to make something that kind of bridged the gap, because Maryville did have some real hitters up in that motherfucker, believe it or not. But they also had a lot of people that wasn't like that was trying to be like that. And I wanted to make another avenue of being like, all right, you can be, because we all from the hood. I mean, we got family from the hood, whatever. Yeah. But it's like, you can be from the hood and you can still want to change or want to be different, and that can still be like fly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could literally be a urban genius. A nigga who urban, you hip to everything, but you smart. You know, you on to the next thing. And that's what Urban Geniuses was when I started. It was like more of like a thing, like we're always on the next thing. Like, you know, just like when BlackBerry was around, Steve Jobs was already working on Apple. It's like we was the Apple during that. You know what I'm saying? So if you get it, you get it. Yeah. But we were people who were always on the next thing. Like, you know, we were real geniuses. Just like we were smart for real. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? We might not have been the best in school smartness, but we were the best in street smarts and just knowing what's next in culture. Mm-hmm. I would more so say culture smartness. So that's why I started Urban Genius. That was more of a thing. Was like, we just gonna get fly, come to school, do us. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't with it, get lost. Type shit. Yeah. So then I started doing that.
So at that point, it was kind of like a click then.
Basically, in a way. You know, we would just come to school fresh with the new streetwear shit and take pictures. Yeah, like that's all it really was. And I was just like, we was all on the same bus. Well, not all of us, but we was all in the same neighborhood. Me, Clarence Draylen, some of the other guys. So I'm like, man, let's just call it Urban Genius. We Urban Geniuses, nigga, type shit. Mm-hmm. So we was just getting fresh, taking pictures. And then it came to a point where I'm like, damn, we getting fresh, taking pictures. People fucking with us. What if we start coming up with our own concepts and started selling it to them? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if we came up with our own streetwear brand? Yeah. So that's when I reached out to Bill, and I was like, bro, because he was already designing shit in the shop. They actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was another thing going on. I can't remember what it was. But when I involved Bill, then that's when it kind of really blew up. Because it was like him, Mike P, Zay. Well, Zay was kind of already in there, Mike P, and they was already kind of stringing along with it. But Bill was able to make the clothes because it was a print shop in Maryville School. Mm-hmm. And that was used for like practicing and stuff like that. But see, Bill had access to all of that. And he knew how to put the design on clothes and print them. So that's when me and Bill kind of clicked up like, nigga, let's make some shit and sell this shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? And let's just call it Urban Genius. Yeah. We already doing it, we might as well. Yeah. So that's when we started coming out with the UG16 shit and all that. We had hats, we had long sleeves and shit like that.
I remember when I started hitting the scene. Shit, that shit was touching over and shit. Motherfuckers knew, like, that shit was actually the way.
We was outside, bro. Yeah. We was outside, bro. We really started a lot of shit with, well, I'm going to go back. There was a brand called GXD. My boy Devin Westbrook was a part of that brand, and it was in Maryville. Like, we was probably maybe sophomores, and that shit had exploded across our school. Everybody had a GXD hat. That was one of the hottest things to get. So I was like, damn. I looked at that, and I was like, once I became a sophomore, junior, senior, I was like, how can we take that concept and just, like, stretch it out? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what really the concept behind Urban Genius was. And, of course, you know, back into the story. But once I linked up with Bill and we kind of started to build a foundation, he started printing stuff like crazy. Mm-hmm. And it just grew, bro. Like, it grew before our years, man. It was just so beyond our time. Then, you know, once we graduated, we started doing our own thing, releasing clothes, coming up with designs. And, mm-hmm. you know, we got in the hands of Queen Key, a bunch of celebrities. Mm-hmm. We would go all the way out to L.A., bro, just giving the shit to the streets, bro. Like, we was really on that shit. So, just over time, man, you know, we had started getting real into the collecting shoes and the exclusive shit and, you know, just shit people couldn't get. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, during that time when Off-White first hit the scene, nobody had that shit.
Yeah, that shit was, you couldn't find it.
Yeah, but we knew how to get it. Mm-hmm. Legit. And it wasn't no Temu, it wasn't no Alibaba. We was actually going to the places because they was only releasing at certain places and at certain times. So we was getting on flights, going, camping out for hours. They can vouch. Going, camping out for hours. I remember one time when the Kobe's around All-Star Weekend. I can't remember what year it was. May have been 2017 or something. Maybe 2017, maybe 2018, maybe. But we flew to LA. Me, Bill, my boy Dre, Ronald, all of us waited in line for hours for the Kobe's to come out, and then.
Which ones were they? You remember?
It was some undefeated Kobe's type shit. Anyway, it was some exclusive ass shoes. Mm-hmm. So we had started to get on that hustle and started to kind of mix things, but that kind of goes along with the story in a way. But anyway, that's what we had started forming Urban Genius into, and then you know, just over time, you know, Draylen had kind of fell off with it. He was more into the tech side, and that was one of the three people that was in it. after we graduated, it was me, Jason, and Draylon. He had started to go more into the tech side. I ended up moving to LA. And me and Bill stayed real close for a minute because it was still, in LA, it's like a fashion district and it's like a big culture for fashion down there to where you can go in print shops and get shit made like on the spot. Mm-hmm. And we was trying to go into the cut and sew thing, which is basically making garments from scratch instead of just print on garments. Mm-hmm. And that's where that was the mecca of where they were doing it. Yeah. So I had brought Bill out there. We had a meeting with a couple manufacturers and everything. But I had ended up moving to LA and ended up interning with a company called 1500 or Nothing, and really more so a guy named Mars. And they had just got done with all the Nipsey Hussle shit. Mm-hmm. Like the studio I was working in, Nipsey Hussle studio was like underneath this type shit. So it was like hands on in that shit. And it was just like at that point in time, I was just so invested in music, and I just felt like I was gonna do Bill a disservice to sit there and like, because we were still doing projects and stuff, but I was just, my time and my energy and my everything was just like.
You just weren't in it.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like music was always my first passion. Fashion has always been my second passion. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I like to do fashion when I feel like it, and then it's like music is something I'm gonna always do. That's why with the new brand that I got, DoMore, it's like, you never know when something's gonna come out. It's gonna come out when I feel like it. Yeah. And that's why that's what I built the brand off of. Mm-hmm. When I feel like doing it, I'm gonna do it. And I feel like with Urban Gens, that brand it already had such a foundation. You just couldn't do that when you felt like doing it. Yeah. And I felt like I was doing my buddy a disservice to do that. So I was just like, you could just have it, like.
Now let me ask, because the way you described it, it seemed like that was like a tough fork in the road that you had to come to terms with. So like, was it like a tough decision to make to kind of walk away from that?
Oh, bro, it was hard as hell. Yeah. That was something that I loved. But as getting older, sometimes you have to come to reality. And everything that I do is always off of feeling. Everything that I do is off of feeling. So if I'm not feeling it, I can't fake it. I don't do fake shit. I just can't. So it's just like, when I stop feeling it, when design stopped coming to me like off of, you know what I'm saying? Because I had transitioned Bill to being a head of creative director, which he was doing a great job and still doing a great job, by the way. Yeah. And it was just like, me still being involved with this and him still running shit by me and me having to approve it before we do something, I just kind of felt like it was getting kind of silly. I'm like, this nigga know what he doing. Mm-hmm. Take the brand and do you, bro. Build this shit to the max. We all finna eat. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to focus on what I need to focus on. And, at the time, it was kind of an iffy thing for him because he was like, man, I don't know if I can just, do this. But I'm like, bro, you got it. Like, you that nigga. Like, take this shit, run with it, build this shit. And, I trust you. It was in good hands. I'm not saying that I handed off the business to him, but practically I more so stepped away from it and kind of just let him do what he, envisioned with it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when you're building something and if you're not in it, it's better for you to step away other than to fake that you in it and tear somebody else down. I've never been that type of person. So I'm like, I know what Urban Gens can do. I know what you're capable of. So just build the fuck out this shit, bro. Yeah. I'm going to still support. I'm going to still buy. I'm going to still, even if you need me to show up to a pop-up and help sell clothes, I still do it. Yeah. Build it out, man. Win. So that everybody can win. But I wasn't that involved with it at that time. My mind just wasn't there. Like, at that time, I was staying in North Hollywood, bro. I had Ari Lennox living in my building. Like, I was damn near seeing people like that every day. Dax, certain different type of people. So it was just like, my mind was like, music. Like, that's all I could think about for real. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, that's all I was really focused on. And I felt like I was doing him a disadvantage to stay and, half-ass it other than just let him do what he needs to do to give it the full attention that it needed.
Yeah. So as an artist, do you think it's important to go out and venture into the world to see like what the world has to offer? Because I can tell that your stay out in LA kind of like changed your perspective on like what could really be done.
Oh, you have to
go about like about music,
You have to, man. A lot of people be saying, man, I'm staying out the way, and it's like, nigga, you need to get in the way. You need to be outside when motherfuckers can see you. Right. Like, I'm not saying be so exclusive to where, you know what I'm saying, like, people see you all the time, but you need to be out talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be out building that fan base in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I did the first session, 2-hour session, I literally called people on the phone like, hey, Brody, what you on?
Yeah,
Pull up to this shit. And they came.
Yeah.
Like, but if you just put out a flyer and then sit back like, man, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. You goddamn right. You don't know what's going to happen because you ain't reached out to nobody.
Yeah.
You have to put in the groundwork, reach out to people,
Mm-hmm.
talk to them, make them feel, you know what I'm saying, like it's a real relationship other than just a text or something. Like, you got to get in the streets and be nice to people and show people love.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime anybody ever see me, and I'm going to tell y'all this right now. Anytime anybody ever see me, any of my homies or something, what's the first thing I do when I see you out or something? Get you a drink, man. Let you know it's still all love. Yeah, I'm working. Yeah, we don't talk like that. Yeah, we don't do this. But come on, man, let's get a drink. Let me let you know that it's still love.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like a lot of artists nowadays, they trying to act like they just working so hard, and nobody's working that hard, bro. I mean, it's
not
just,
for real, though.
You're just not.
Yeah.
You're just not. We know the real. But it's just like, at certain points, you have to get in the street and have to let people know, like, I'm a real person. What's up?
Mm-hmm.
Listen to my song. Download it. It's one thing for me to tell you to download a song via text, and it's another thing to be in your face and be like, nigga, download my song. I'm watching you. Download it. So it's just different. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know what I'm saying to anybody, like, get outside, but don't stay outside. Work. Do what you need to do. Get outside. Be amongst the people. But, you know, you still got to go in and work and still be kind of exclusive. You don't want to be too outside. But, yeah.
I feel that. So
travel, you know, just cut you off, but travel, you know, see different people, talk to different people, get in different cultures. When you go a place, go into their cultures. Don't just stick in your, man, and that's what a lot of people say, like when they go to Miami or something, man, the food nasty out here. Ask the locals what they eat. Get into their culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, really dive in, and that's when you can start building a fan base of real people who really love you for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then that reaches out to more people and so on and so forth. But
so I mean, kind of, I guess in closing, like throughout your journey, like through music, through fashion, just like meeting people and just being an entrepreneur, somebody wanted to do what you did, what would be your best advice to them?
in terms of just entrepreneurship or just in general? Well, in terms of like music, fashion, or just in general?
I guess I'll put it better. Like, what have been the best lessons that you have learned throughout your journey, venturing through all these things? Because I'm sure there's some things that have a silver lining through all of it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say two things. The number one thing is never care about people's opinion, good or bad. Never care about people's opinions, good or bad. So if they like it, still keep your head down and do what you're going to do. If they don't like it, still keep your head down and do what you're going to do. You know what I mean? And I've always looked at life as like, if I can get one person to enjoy what I'm doing, that's all I need. Because there's millions and millions and billions and trillions of people in the world. So if I can get one person to enjoy it, if I go to Australia, it's going to be another one person. If I go to Europe, it might going to be another one person. And, you know, a lot of people around the 219 get so discouraged because this person ain't fucking with me and this person ain't this. If you got one person that's fucking with you, bro, you good. Because that means that there are other people that like it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to go back to what I said at first. Always do you. Don't care about people's opinions, good or bad. Keep your tunnel vision. And what I mean by that is sometimes people can praise people and be like, man, you doing so good with this, you doing so good with that. And there's other people that don't really like what you're doing, you know, but it's like none of that really cares. Just do you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the people who supposed to be there are going to come and the people who not. Like I always tell people, like, I was just telling my boy Aaron, he just started a clothing brand. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, bro, I've never wanted people to support me. And this is just my opinion. Because I feel like support is just you going with somebody based off who they are. Mm-hmm. I want you to go with what I'm doing because you really like it. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to buy a shirt for me just because I'm Derek or DFlame. Mm-hmm. I want you to buy a shirt for me because you said, nigga, that shit is raw. That's why I want you to buy it. Yeah. I don't want support. Because to me, support is just fake. And you only going to do that once. But I want to...
And it's subjective.
Exactly. I want a real fan base that's going to be like, nigga, I fuck with what you doing. and I'm gonna fuck with you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Hey, that's real, man. Shit. That being said, man, I thank you for coming on, bro. I really
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Everything you said. Hey, man, y'all heard it here first.
Y'all heard it here first, man. It's your boy DFlame. It's your boy IPA in the building, man. You know what I'm saying? The best IPA you can drink, man. Get a sip of this. No cap.
Yes, sir.